You know, Raila Odinga caused so much panic yesterday at the KICC. He caused so much panic when he arrived that it was comical. Comedy. At least something Kenyans can laugh about. Because these days we don't have much to laugh about. And yet it exposed a very serious problem we have in Kenya with this government. It exposed childishness, utoto, in government. Now let us just break down the chain of events, especially for those who didn't follow and those who've not been on social media, so that we all understand exactly what happened, before I break it down further. And let me go over and beyond to simplify this so that we all understand. During any function, a wedding, whatever kind of function, not everybody knows everybody. So for that reason, different people are given power to accredit those who will attend. For instance, if it is a wedding, there is no way you can know all your in-laws. There is no way. Pengine mwingine umemsikia lakini hujakutana naye. And that basic rule does not change even with a big conference, like the climate summit, ongoing in Nairobi, Kenya currently. And so in the build-up to the events of yesterday, either the African Union or the United Nations accredited an international statesman, somebody who's known globally, a Kenyan called Raila Odinga. Now, for instance, in a wedding, you cannot go to your in-laws and tell them, don't accredit that person. You can't. Mtakosana. Tena mtakosana vibaya. And so this mysterious vehicle comes in through the gate of those accredited by AU or UN. And it passes through all the security procedures and enters KICC. The arrangement is that Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua welcomes these distinguished guests, VIPs, as far as the AU and UN are concerned. And I would not rule out a delegate arriving and then asking at some point, and you are, that's a deputy president. And so as the vehicle approaches Rigathi Gachagua and the people around him have no idea who this is. At least until it is too late. Now these sets of photographs on your screens are priceless. You can see the two protocol fellows desperately inquiring who this dignitary is. And now you can see their reactions when they are told Raila Amolo Odinga. It almost stings. Wanashituka vibaya sana. Huh? No. You can see the look on the face of that man. Priceless. Completely priceless. Horror. Fear. Terror. Aye. For what? It's just a Kenyan coming into the summit. A well-known Kenyan, of course. But it's just an ordinary man. He doesn't bite. Now in this photograph, you can see the security person consulting quickly with Gachagua whether to allow this particular dignitary into the summit or not. And Gachagua's quick thinking tells him, don't cause a scene. So he says, okay, let him in. Actually, I wish they had tried to block Raila from entering the summit. And then the whole world would have been able to see clearly what kind of government we're dealing with in Kenya. A very petty government. You know, on Sunday, Raila was blocked from entering Narok. And you ask yourself, for what? He was momentarily blocked by a whole police lorry. And Raila alighted from his vehicle. And then after a brief exchange of words, he was let through. So you ask yourself, why? What would have the motive been? And you only end up with one answer. This man, you must embarrass him wherever he goes. Now, is that petty and childish, or is it not? You know, government resources are not unlimited. Time is not unlimited. Both are precious resources. And when you have a government allocating precious time and resources to block somebody as if it will change anything, in fact, it attracts even more attention, makes Raila Odinga even more famous and more popular. But if a government can allocate valuable resources and time to such petty, childish things, then you know, as a country, we are in serious trouble. More serious trouble than you thought. And if truth be told, in this summit, Raila Odinga knows everybody because of what he has been doing all his life. He will not fail to have something to discuss with everybody. But a lot of these UDA fellows, very new fellows, I can't imagine what the discussion will be about. Because at the end of the day, everything is reduced to the human level. You meet somebody and you find something to discuss. Let me just leave it at that, because if I keep going, I will really embarrass some people. And you see, it is all true. It's not a joke. You know, there's one problem this government is suffering so far, which people have been trying to analyze, and they've gotten it wrong. Analysts have been going out of their way to try and analyze the way Musalia Mudavadi is overshadowing a whole deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. And they forget a very simple truth. If you are Ruto, for instance, today, let me just ask you the question. Assume you are him, and you needed to send somebody to represent you out of the country, and you had a choice of Musalia Mudavadi, polished, experienced, etc., and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Who would you choose? Yeah, because you don't want to get embarrassed. Who would you choose? Let me just leave that one there. Jijazie wewe mwenyewe. Choices have consequences in this life. Yeah, and when you're thinking of some short-term things you want to achieve, some very short-term things within your party, later on you will suffer, because problems like this arise. What are you going to do? And then this man that you put there as your running mate, as deputy president, starts complaining. Why are you doing this to me? How do you start explaining to them? It is not personal. You see, you cannot be what you're not. It's not possible. You cannot be in the Kenya Kwanza government suddenly and then you decide you want to be Raila Odinga. This is a brand that has taken decades to build, and you want to build yours in a matter of months. Is it possible? But why am I not surprised? Shortcut government. In a government that has a liking for shortcuts, quick fixes, shortcut solutions, magic solutions, and all this is applied to policy. Mungu saidia Kenya. Hey. But you know, there's something brewing, yeah, in the background, chini ya maji, that is quite serious, with serious consequences. And concerning that, I want you to take a quick look at the following clip. I'll be back. The most shocking information in Kenyan politics currently is still chini ya maji, but we can see the evidence, the confirmation of that information all around us. Have you noticed that Raila Amolo Odinga and Azimio are behaving very strangely in recent times? Only keen observers would have noticed that. Catch my very latest weekly intelligence briefings number 114 for that shell-shocking information. Take advantage of our latest offer in the description area below this video and grab this shell-shocking information that you will have to sit down to take in. Missing weekly intelligence briefings number 114. Hey, should never cross your mind. Get it now. Now something very interesting has happened since the last video I made. We've had at least 2 Kenyans come forward and say that they want to sponsor young people in Kenya, students, to my weekly intelligence briefings. I've already had 2 people committing, and I'd appeal to the rest of us. It is very important that we bring our youth. People are just starting out in life. They may not have the funds. It is very important that we bring them up to speed with what is really happening in Kenya. Because those are the real movers and shakers. Those are the ones who will determine if Kenya will change or not. And if the ignorant only exposed to UDA propaganda, then we are done. It is super fascinating because this was not my idea. All I did was to come up with a special offer for the young people. But you guys came up with a better idea. Sponsor many of them. And today I have 20 slots for annual membership to my weekly intelligence briefings. And so if you are a young person, you've always wanted WAB membership, but have never been able to afford it, this is your golden opportunity. Just drop me an email. The email address is youmissthis@gmail.com. You can see it on your screens right now. And pop, I will give you annual membership to my weekly intelligence briefings. And for the rest of us, I would like us to sponsor as many of these young people as possible. If we can get at least 1,000, that would be great. You can also see details on this on your screens right now. Sponsor 10. That's only $39.99, or Kenya shillings 3,999. Invest in your country. Invest in the future. And indeed the future is already here. Because the country is at a crossroads. A very deadly place. Remember that bridge I've been talking about? And how we get out of it, we can either decide just to sit back, or we can decide to do something. This is an excellent opportunity to do something. Please consider it, so that at least in future we will avoid embarrassing situations like what happened at KICC yesterday. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.